conference. Africa must unite, and we're trying to discuss how the elders can pass the torch to the youth. Because that interim generation, the millennials, were miseducation in Hollywood fashion. You know, Jay-Z and Puffy, their music, but they're not the reality of the diaspora that we live in. There are very few selective ones that white people tend to like, or the melanin challenge, so to speak. And there was a magazine I saw, Jay-Z is the true president. No, he's not. Because he was saying, nigga, bitch, ho, this, that, and the other, until he had a daughter. Then he stopped. But he made millions before that. You can't say, well, now that I have, if you've already contributed and influenced a generation, now this is how you get wealthy, how you get down, by disrespecting yourselves. And when they say males are an endangered species, that divides us. Because girls and boys are both equally endangered species. And now you have them pitting against each other. Each one are equally in danger, and each one can uplift if they stand together and unite and understand and respect each other as young men and women. Hollywood tends to perpetuate us in white fashion. BET hasn't been in black since Viacom bought it. They just had the name. Robert Johnson sold the name too, as white. So now you have white people showing you and controlling our music, showing you how our lyrics are going to sell, to the point where Kanye West is so twisted, he said slavery was a choice. And we know that's not true. But he's warped and he's so famous that people might say, oh really? And not really understand that it was a violence and a most incredible, inhumane act against a people of color, that we were scattered all over the world. We have black Chinese, black Europeans, black Asians, black Europeans, black Latin, we're all over the world. And we need to understand that we need to support each other and understand that any drop of melanin, you need to try to support. But the real thing is about the men and the women respecting each other. Women are endangered too. They're left pregnant, single parents, and struggling on their own. Drugs are running rampant. Prostitution is running rampant. But education is also very important. And now that we have the internet, since we are the largest consumers on the planet, black folks can spend money quick, but not save. Well, we're learning how to save. In this next generation, educating ourselves. My mother was really very into health and education and the girl child. When people say Malcolm, they have to say Betty, because it was 8 years of his life. Martin did civil rights, which is not good enough. That's local. My father did human rights, because Darwin makes it international. He traveled to Africa, here in Ghana, as a matter of fact, was part of the OAU conference with the heads of state. And he brought that concept back to the United States. The OAU, the Organization of African Unity, was here, and he started the Organization of Afro-American Unity, and trying to combine the link between Africa and African Americans in the United States. And he was doing well, but unfortunately a lot of Pan-Africanists died before 40. They were killed because what they were promoting was the knowledge of our intelligence and our history and the wrongs that happened and what we can do to correct it by education, which is key. If you don't know, you'll be fooled forever. Okay? Peter Bailey can say you don't have a Chinese chance in hell. Well, who cares? And that was then. This is now. There was no excuse now to be fooled. You can learn on your iPhone. People who can't afford to go to college proper can get college online, just with their laptop, make their own hours, and still get a degree. So, education is more important, most important. The little things that come by, the little treats, but it comes by work. You can't expect some of these generations feel a sense of entitlement. There is no entitlement. Okay? God forbid I come home with less than a B+. I'm the daughter of Malcolm and Betty. Excuse me, Betty and Malcolm. Sorry about that, ladies. But it was about taking it seriously. You can have fun, but prepare yourself. You have to prepare yourself, and especially minority groups. They know what the struggle is, and when they come here, they work. And especially in the United States, it's a sense of entitlement, and I don't even have a sense of entitlement. My mother made us work. We worked. I did not. I went to college at 15 when it's normally 18 because I worked. We had one TV in the house, and we had a huge house. There was a TV room. That's it. You have books. We work. Reading is fundamental. There was a program when I was growing up. Now the NBA brought it back. I went to library camp. I thought everybody went to library camp. People don't even know the Dewey Decimal System, which is the oldest form of research. But when you don't have a computer, I can go to the library and figure out where everything is. People don't have to go that far because, modern technology, but if you don't read and learn, or my mother used to say, if you haven't walked in somebody's shoes, then you can't judge or you can't critique because then you're listening to somebody else's opinion. Just like we are called living in the jungle. Are you kidding? This isn't the jungle. I was just over in a girlfriend's house who works at the United Nations. She now lives near Rollins. Beautiful swimming pool, the whole night. It's not everything. Ghana is probably one of the only countries that's never had conflict internally, but they still have issues of being suppressed by outsiders who were kicked out. Those Euros still don't want to give up. Now you get the Euros out of Africa. Now the Chinese are slipping in the back door when nobody was looking. Asia is pretty. They're strict and vicious in ruling in their own countries. Now they're coming over here because they want to rape the resources of the most prominent country of continent in the world. The UN did a study on when each continent would deplete all their sources. All of them had a finite date except for Africa. The world can live on Africa infinitum. That's why they're being suppressed. Unfortunately, each country, the 53 states, I believe, they're just being pulled apart. And if there was unity in Africa, I think North America, Europe, and Asia, they would be very afraid. But the corruption, unfortunately, that needs to dissipate. We need to elect this new generation. And I am pleasantly, overwhelmingly pleased at the youth here. Overwhelmingly. You're not talking about Martin. Remember, they're just like, whoa, Malcolm. Everybody, I think I look like my mother, but everybody says I look like my father when I put my glasses on. But, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I did IT for 10 years. Anybody saw Hidden Figures, that was me. But I'm 6 feet. Those white boys had not a chance. Everything had to go through me before it went out. And just like it was with her. When everybody knows about John Glenn, but they didn't know about her. He was like, if she doesn't do it, I'm not going. And then all of the other astronauts followed suit. They have 3 buildings named after that woman in NASA. Everybody doesn't know that she's black. For instance, I went to Operation Crossroads, Africa, 10 years older than the Peace Corps. Dr. Robinson, Kennedy, he was doing it for 10 years. Kennedy, who everybody thought was friends of the black people, he's going to fool you. He said, well, you create a program for the nation, thinking that he was going to run it. He set up the Peace Corps and expecting to run it, and he gave it to Sergeant Shriver. Now, white people and everybody in the country thinks that Sergeant Shriver started the Peace Corps when it was started.